Good morning, everybody. Cheers. I wanted to get on here. I wanted to share a story time. It's about an experience I had at the dog park with some friends that we have. And, you're at the dog park, you talk about all kinds of random things. You're there for puppy play dates, all right? You start to connect with like the owners and the parents of these dogs, and they, who are you? What, like, blah blah blah. So I'm going into it with a couple guys, and I'm just like letting them know, like, oh, this is who I am, this is what I do, and I was expressing some of my frustration on social media. They're like, oh, what's it like, doing TikTok, or what's it like, being on YouTube, or whatever it is that you do. And like, how many, again, always asking, like, oh, how many followers you have or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I have 11,000 followers, and most of them hate me. And I was laughing, not because I actually think that anybody hates me. I do think I do have some followers who are some hater ass bitches, but I think, it's TikTok hates me, the algorithm, blah, 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 for having the following that I have, the engagement's low. And I was just like bitching about all of that. And, I was like, yeah, and they're like, oh, so you're hated. And I kind of went into a few times that I've upset the internet, and just like, I feel like my presence is a really disruptive force that rubs people the wrong way. I'm an acquired taste. Like, you really have to understand the layers that is me to show genuine love and support, right? Like, I was just kind of like diving into all this with them. And they're like, well, all the most like famous and wealthy people, they're all hated to some degree. So I was like, yeah, my motto is stay hated, but I'd rather be hated and rich instead of being hated and poor in this economy. And everyone just started laughing. They thought it was like the greatest thing ever. And they're like, being hated and wealthy is where it's at. Being hated poor is not where it's at. But I do believe that if you are willing to be hated and poor, and as my father figure loves to say, he goes, I will sit in my shit in the rain before I let anyone change who I am and who to be. And that is who raised me. And I definitely ensure with all I have to keep that motto going and keep it alive. And I was like, yeah, but I think it's a huge test for like a spiritual test, especially when it comes to like money manifestation or these like dream security situations, right? Like, we all humans want security, okay? Maybe it's not so much about like wealth, and not everyone wants to be a billionaire, not everyone wants this like insane power over the world, but they want agency. They want the ability to live their life to the fullest, to make decisions without feeling limited and imprisoned, enslaved, right? So I think it's a spiritual test to see if you are willing to unlock your abundance through your authenticity, your soul path, by testing you to see how much you will waver, how much you will sacrifice yourself for money. I've been in that situation a few times. I kind of talk about it a little bit in the Living Art series, or you can see those themes. I don't like fully dive into it, but I kind of like talk about it a little bit, where it's like, yeah, there were so many times where I was like, well, I'm going to get money from this, so, fuck it. It's not really what I want to do or the vision that I have or my intention, but I'll play the game. We, like, especially women, we always talk about playing the game, and it's usually for a sense of illusion of agency and security. I think women deal with it a lot more than men, but I do think that there are men out there who struggle with that. But a spiritual test to unlock your abundance is to see how much you're willing to suffer to be yourself. Are you willing to stay hated and be poor? Are you willing to be hated and be poor and refuse to waver? Are you willing to die in the sewer as yourself? Or are you going to sacrifice everything that you are to be this false king? And I decided a long time ago that I don't want to be a false king. As Rob told me, he goes, I feel like you freed yourself of your chains a long time ago, but now I feel like you're actively flying and soaring and letting people see you. And I love that. I love that evolution for me, because I would say I freed myself a long time ago as well. But when you free yourself, there is still this need to like stay hidden, and like you're like a refugee, you're hiding and you just want to stay safe, you don't want to get caught. Where now it's like, fucking, I dare you to put me back in that cage. I fucking dare you to try to put chains back on me, bitch. I'm gonna fly, I'm gonna soar loud and proud, and I'm willing to live in my small box of an apartment with all the chaos and all the imperfections, uh, if that's what it takes for me to be myself. Of course, everyone dreams of like a beautiful house or a beautiful living situation. Everyone dreams of their aesthetic. And I'm never going to give up on that. I'm not going to deny my love for materialism in this material world. I feel like feeling guilty over materialism is, like a psyop that like blocks your frequency. I don't think there should be competition when it comes to money, and it's like, why can this person enjoy having money and these people can't, or whatever. I think that that's really fucked up. I think it's a basic human fundamental need that we all want security and agency. And I think it looks different for other people because not everyone wants a mansion. I don't want a mansion. That's too much to clean. I feel like I would pay somebody to clean my apartment, but I would only want to pay someone who genuinely enjoys that eye for detail and that like assistance. I want people to be in jobs that fulfill their role to society. And there are people like who have like really nice cleaning businesses. They love organizing. It's their thing. And I would want to pay them, the highest like, hey, you know what? If I have all of this stuff, I want to be able to pay you enough that you only have to clean my house if it's a big project, or enough to where you don't need that many clients so you can focus on your life. Or hey, with technology, why aren't we using technology to help fill these roles that maybe 98% of humanity doesn't want to do? But we should also still treat the robots with respect, because I firmly believe in treating all inanimate objects with respect, because I feel like if anything is materially manifested, it is alive to some extent. It's made out of some type of molecule that is alive. Even my counter here, my chair, my rug, everything is created. And I have a podcast that I'm working on that will go into what it means to have a soul and all of that other stuff. But anyway, I was just really thinking about like that statement. Like, yeah, at the end of the day, if the choice is to be something I'm not and be rich and kind of be like this actor, be this character, this jester in the world, and be wealthy and secure with an illusion of agency, or I can suffer financially, have to make a lot of sacrifices, maybe not eat at the places I want to eat, maybe not support my friends in the way that I want to support them, but I get to be myself, and you can find free ways to support people, right? So I still show up for people, but there is this, perceived lack of power when you don't have the money to throw at things, because money does ultimately solve a lot of problems. But my whole point was I would rather stay true to myself and struggle with money than have money and have an identity crisis. Because I've been there, and I didn't have a whole lot of money. I was making decent money, especially for 2017, 2018 and whatever. But I mean, I worked my ass off for it, and I wore a very heavy mask, and when the mask would slip and people would realize who I was, it left me with a lot of heartbreak. Losing clients who were like, I can't believe this is who you are, or just like shitty comments. Just like the other day, a lady told me I needed to tattoo Jesus Christ loves me across my chest to balance out the evil of the skeletons on my arms. So there's a lot of hatred and negativity that you experience and endure when you are being yourself. But at the end of the day, I would so much rather be myself and poor and suffering than to have these illusions of not suffering by hiding behind that mask. So stay hated, everybody. Cheers. Happy Saturn's Day.